Hello, welcome to Bookkeeping as a Business. This course is designed to walk you through how to start and succeed in running your own bookkeeping practice. My name is Lorinda Christensen. I've owned a bookkeeping firm for about 6 years. Um, and I have a background in accounting and finance, and I really enjoy what I do. I think it's an excellent choice for people who are looking for a new career path, and we'll just jump right into why right now. Why bookkeeping? The first and the biggest thing is high demand. Probably since COVID, there's always been a demand for bookkeeping because you've got a lot of business owners who have started their businesses, who are running their businesses, and accounting can take a lot of time, especially doing good accounting and keeping those books up to date. Can be time consuming, and a lot of business owners find that they're spending more time doing the administrative work of doing their books or doing finance related things that they don't feel like they're actually getting to run their business. And so a lot of people like to outsource accounting services. You'll also see a lot of people who will want to outsource that because they don't feel comfortable or knowledgeable enough to do their own books and they want them correct. And then I have a lot of clients that I get from tax pros sending over some of their clients to me because it's tax season and it's time for them to file their business taxes, and a customer will send this tax pro like a set of financial statements for them to file taxes off of, and that tax pro will realize that the financial statements really aren't in good enough shape to do that. And so I get a lot of business with just people wanting somebody to help them get some financial statements that are usable to annual business taxes. So there's huge demand out there. And honestly, before COVID, there was regular demand, high demand, but it has just exploded after COVID. Um, because of the pandemic, a lot of businesses, had to shut down, or there was uncertainty about, even in states or areas where the shutdown didn't last as long. There were some concerns, there were some additional costs, and it was just a really big time of uncertainty for a lot of business owners, especially small business owners. And there was a lot of anxiety around that. People were having to worry about, can I pay my employees? Can I pay myself? Are my suppliers going to be able to get me the things that I need? Um, and then there were a lot of regulatory things that happened with the IRS, or the federal government offered some relief programs that people wanted some help to kind of navigate, or they needed financial statements in order to apply for some of those relief opportunities. And so the demand has just really exploded since COVID. I think that people are still a little bit anxious about that. Our economy is kind of in that weird gray area of a recession. So, finances and the health of people's small businesses are really at the top of people's minds. And so there's a huge demand out there. I actually turn away business at this point because I just don't have enough hours in the day to complete a lot of things. So I think that it's a great choice because there's a demand there. There's some customers who are looking for you to do this. The second thing is bookkeeping just has very low startup cost. I'm going to walk you through kind of how I started my business. I think that my initial cost to start my business, it was $25, and that was just for me to get a business certificate to operate my business under. Everything else when I first started was 100% free, and I'm going to walk you through how to do that. So it's a great business to do that you don't have to come up with money to make money, which, in some situations that's very difficult. So low startup costs also a good reason that bookkeeping is a good choice for you. Formal education is not required with bookkeeping. So you don't have to have an accounting degree. You don't need an accounting degree. There are a lot of accounting softwares out there that are very, very easy to navigate once you learn how to use them. We'll walk through some common bookkeeping tasks. So long as you are comfortable being able to balance a checkbook, or you're comfortable just following logic, this is a great choice for you because it's something that there's lots of training available online for free. Uh, there's some training in this course, and it doesn't cost you anything to get that training that you need. So great program for that. Because the cost of running this business are really low, that means you have really high margins, which is the difference between the money that you're bringing in and then the expenses that you're having to incur to keep your business running. So there's no materials that you have to buy. Um, you don't have to have employees. You can do it on your own for a while. So there's very little you can get away with not having any investment in any kind of software. And again, no formal education is required and lots of free options. So the margins are very high. It's essentially what you're billing your client is what you take in take home pay. So it's a great choice for that. And then it's also really easy to scale. I'm going to show you some of the things that I do in my bookkeeping practice to kind of automate the workflows that we go through to do bookkeeping services for people. I have a single employee and then I have myself, and we handle the books for a little bit over 70 clients, I would say, annually. And so it's just really easy to scale this so that you can bring in, more revenues, service revenue for that. So great choice for that. And then everybody's favorite is the flexibility. Because bookkeeping is mostly a pen to paper or a computer to screen endeavor, you don't have to be in one place. You don't have to do it at a certain time. So I work from home. Behind me, this is my home office, and this is where I spend a lot of my time. I do a lot of meetings online with clients through we use Microsoft Teams, but I can do that from anywhere. So I think the flexibility is probably the number one seller of why a bookkeeping practice is good, because it works really well for people with small children who maybe want to stay home with those small children. It works really great for people like myself who 5 to 6 years ago, my kids weren't small, they were in school, but I wanted to be able to be there for school activities. I wanted to be there for their band concerts. I wanted to be there for their academic team. And so it was a great choice for me to be able to kind of be my own boss and set my own schedule. And just if I had a school activity, I would just mark that off of my calendar that I wasn't available then, and move on. It's something that you can do while you're working at another job, so you can scale this business as a side gig until it starts making enough income for you to do it full time. So it's great and flexible for that. If you're in an elder care situation where maybe you're taking care of an elderly parent, or you're a stay at home person for another reason like that, or you like to travel, you really just need an internet connection and a computer to do a bookkeeping business. um, 100% of our systems are online systems. I have a single employee, and I've actually never met her in person, but we talk every day. So this is something that you can do from anywhere. We actually do this from anywhere. My husband and I actually own and we decided to take like a 10-day cross country trip to Orlando from I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Um, and we can do that because I can just pick up my computer and bring an internet connection with me. And so long as I have a power source, I'm good to go. I can work from wherever. So I can go enjoy new locales in the evenings, and during the day work, or vice versa. I can do my work pretty much any time. You get to choose how much interaction that you have with your clients via like actually time sensitive things like meetings, but a lot of things that we do is through email. So you can do this around other jobs, you can do this around your travel. You can just it's great for flexibility. So that's really, for me, the primary reason why I started my bookkeeping practice. This next slide is the boring slide. This is just a little bit about me. I do actually have an accounting and finance background. I got my undergraduate accounting degree back in 2004. I'm a little old. And then in 2019, I went back and got a master's of business administration. Because at the time I was working for a hospital, so my emphasis is in healthcare data analytics. So I'm a big data person, I'm a big tech person. Uh, really enjoy anything that has to do with data, and I could probably sit and watch people mess with Excel. Just a random fact, did you know that they have championship Excel competitions? I don't know that I'm that competent at Excel, but I do very much enjoy data, and I do enjoy playing with numbers on a spreadsheet. I'm a little bit of a nerd, but this is kind of the boring slide, so I'll move on pretty quickly, but this is about me. This is probably what you guys are more interested in, is what's going to be in this course. So right now you're in the introduction and course overview session. So that's the first one on here, and it's just getting to know me. The next one that we're going to do is what is bookkeeping. I do run into people when I tell them that I'm an accountant or I'm a bookkeeper that kind of have a misunderstanding. A lot of people just equate a bookkeeper or an accountant to that person who does taxes, and that's not actually the case. So the what is bookkeeping session will cover the different types of accounting, all the way from, a CPA who's doing formal audits, working for BKD or Ernst and Young or something, all the way, across the spectrum. We'll go through, the people who work as financial consultants. We'll go through bookkeeping. We'll look at tax pros, and then kind of where those gray areas are so that maybe you guys can start thinking about what services you would like to offer in your firm. And we'll go through, some of them have certification requirements, some of the services that you provide, but a lot of them do not. It's really just going to be whether you feel comfortable providing that service or not. The next thing that we'll go through is an accounting overview. And that session, I just kind of want to get everybody a baseline. So we will look at a balance sheet, a profit and loss, and a cash flow statement. And I'll kind of talk about what those financial statements are. They're the building blocks of accounting. And I'm going to walk people through an example of those to kind of describe what those are, just so that you can get a sense to where if by that point I am boring you to death and it's not just my voice but also the content, that maybe this isn't a good choice for you and you can bail early. But if it does interest you, it'll maybe help you decide to keep going on this. The next one that I wanted to talk about is business structure. I do recommend that when you start a business, um, you do set up some sort of a formal business structure for that so that it's separate from your personal finances. But I want to walk through the different options that you have for that business structure and kind of talk about the pros and cons of each of those. The next one, and you might wonder why I have engaged pricing and billing before that how to get your first client, but that's by design. I getting started went through a lot of bumps, made a lot of mistakes in how I structured my engagements, my pricing, and then how I build. And so I kind of want to talk about that first so that maybe you guys can skip all of those, the ugly things that caused me a lot of headaches in the beginning. Maybe you guys can get that taken care of first before you get that first client so that you already have everything done behind the scenes instead of scrambling like I did or having to go oopsie and go to a client and discuss, hey, I didn't do a great job of pricing your thing and now I need to, raise your fees. So I want to talk about engagements and how I price them. And then just kind of talk about, you'll hear me say tech stack a lot, but I'll talk about kind of the options that you have for actually billing that. We started with a free option, that the only thing that we paid were like processing fees, and now I have a paid option that we use that I pay a flat fee for every month. But I'll kind of walk through some of that. But then, of course, the important one is how to get your first client. I will tell you up front that that's probably the hardest part of all of this is how to figure out how to get your first client, and your first handful of clients, because getting started is always the scary part, but I will walk through how I did it. I'll cover some anecdotes about how some colleagues of mine got started, and then we can brainstorm on, some ideas for you and how to do that. I will tell you that after I got those first few handfuls of clients and made some connections, my business right now, I do zero marketing. It is 100% referral, and I actually turn away business because I have too much of it. So we'll talk about how you can get the ball rolling on that. It snowballs, I feel like, pretty quickly. So we'll talk through some of that. And then I've just got a few sessions in here where I'm going to walk you through using QuickBooks Online, walk you through common bookkeeping tasks. And we'll do that on some live clients where you can kind of see this is what I do on a day to day basis, or this is what my employee does on a day to day basis, which is kind of a bigger drill down into that accounting overview that we did earlier, just so you can get a flavor for what the actual day to day job is, and also get you a little bit of training. And I'll provide some links on where you can go get more formal training if you need it. Um, but I feel like I want to say there are 3 sessions where I walk through some common bookkeeping tasks. So keep your eyes open for those. And then financial statement review is kind of the process that happens after you've done all of those common bookkeeping tasks throughout the month. At the end of the month, you will run reports for that month. And I just kind of want to walk you through what my process is for reviewing those, for things that I see that are frequent mistakes and how to correct them. And then just kind of getting you a flavor for, again, I've been doing this for probably 20 years now in accounting. And so I just kind of want to review some financial statements with you guys, on screen with me, just so you can hear my thought process about why I'm looking at certain numbers and going, ooh, that doesn't look quite right. Or, ooh, I probably need to click into that and figure out what that is because it looks like it might be a mistake. So we'll walk through a balance sheet, a cash flow statement, and a profit and loss and talk about the things that I look for to make sure that the work that we did was done correctly. The next thing is deliverables. Because bookkeeping is a service business, sometimes there are no deliverables, but my accounting practice, we do provide things to our clients, at least our recurring clients, on a regular monthly basis. And I'll kind of show you what ours look like because I have spent a lot of time like making a deliverables packet that I can give to them that looks very professional, that has good information in there, and then also how to use that as a doubling for a sales form, to maybe if you want to start getting into advisory services or consulting services, how you can use that deliverable on a monthly basis to provide your already existing clients a really good way to pay you more money. So we'll look into deliverables, and then you're probably wondering why the next thing is herding cats. Um, One of the main things in the bookkeeping practice is working with customers, working with business owners, and a lot of the things that we do require inputs from the business owner on, we need copies of their bank statements, we need copies of any kind of loans that they take out, and how we facilitate. I kind of want to walk people through how we facilitate that communication, because business owners are normally running in a million different directions at a time, so they're not sitting like we do in front of a computer checking their email all the time. A lot of them are on their sales floors or doing, I have a lot of clients who travel for a living, who do things out in the field. And so they're normally operating from a phone, or don't even have a phone. So talking about kind of how we try to keep our services on track when we're not getting the information that we need from our clients, and kind of how we structure trying to make sure that that happens on a timely manner, so that we don't end up at the end of every year having all of our clients trying to send us a full year's worth of the stuff we've been asking for all year, because then you just wouldn't be able to handle that many clients because they're all coming in at once. So I'm going to try to walk you through how we attempt to facilitate getting that information when we need it, so that we get to plan when we do the work. And then the very last thing is, a lot of the business that I get right now is referral based. So I have a lot of tax pros that I work with who they just want to file taxes. And I don't, my firm particularly does not handle many taxes. We do a few, and I'll cover some of that in what is bookkeeping, on whether you maybe want to offer that or not. But a lot of my referrals come from tax pros. And so I just kind of wanted to touch on where I met these people, like how I got in touch with them, how I demonstrated to them that I'm competent enough to provide financial statements for whatever they need. And then I just think that it's important that you stay in touch with people who do the same thing that you do, because this can be a really solitary business. Um, and it's important that you continue to learn from other people, and that you socialize with other people, and maybe they have some solutions to some problems that you're dealing with. So I just kind of wanted to provide a few pointers on how you can get plugged into some online forums, or some conferences or things like that, where you can talk to people who are doing this and kind of grow your business with that networking. I think that that is it for this session. This one's a pretty easy one. I hope that I didn't drive you insane with the chattering. If I did, then maybe this isn't going to be a good course for you, but hopefully this covered the basics of what this course is going to be about, and I hope you join me for the next one, which is what is bookkeeping, where we go through all of the different types of accounting, and kind of how those things can be packaged or not packaged together to offer things to your clients in terms of a service listing. So until next time, thank you very much for joining me.